Hi everyone, I'm the Comms and Engagement Lead for Improving Estate Management, and I'm just going to walk through some of the kind of bits of tools and guidance we've got available, and some of the things we've got going on. I'll try and be quick because I know we've gone slightly over already. So just a bit of context first of all. So we have around 22,000 schools in England, about 65,000 blocks, and a total estimated repair bill of 11 billion from CDC 1, but that was a few years ago, so with inflation I imagine that's probably a little bit bigger now. We are using the condition data collection to assess the condition of the estate, but we know it's ageing. There are a lot of buildings from post-war and they need particular care and attention to make sure that they remain safe as they're becoming sort of to the end of their expected life or beyond it. So we provide funding, as you'll be aware, and then we've also got a school rebuilding programme that will be rebuilding 500 schools over the next 10 years. Next slide, please. So I'm sure you're probably familiar that CDC, the condition data collection, is in its second round now. It's running from 2021 last year till 2026, and it will help us to understand the condition of the estate as a whole and prioritise for that. So we're very keen to make sure that schools and responsible bodies access their reports. It's not a condition survey in itself. The reports aren't detailed enough for that, so we do recommend that condition surveys are done as well, but it can help to sort of target or have a look at where you might need to look into things further. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the net capacity assessment programme. I'll admit this isn't my policy area, so if you've got questions, there's an email address on the slide. So alongside CDC, we will be doing some net capacity assessments of secondary and special schools. I think it's around up to 5,000 schools. And this is to give us better data on pupil capacity and to help us with planning. And it also helps schools and responsible bodies with their capacity figures, with making efficient use of space, planning, and making sure things are independently verified as well. Next slide, please. So we generally say that school estates need to be managed strategically and maintained in a safe working condition, and that's the priority for us, I suppose, is the health and safety of it. So we help to do that through trying to build the capability of the sector with guidance, new programmes, and trying to understand the challenges. So we do a lot of work with various stakeholders to try and make sure we understand fully the sort of challenges there are, especially at the moment, and to make sure that the support we are offering is actually helpful and is as good as it could be. So the key things we usually say schools should have is an estate vision and strategy, an asset management plan, and condition surveys I mentioned before. And all of this is outlined in GEMS. Next slide, please, which is our key bit of guidance. So the Good Estate Management for Schools guide sets out advice and resources for managing school estates effectively and strategically as well. So it outlines strategic estate management, maintenance, compliance, managing projects effectively, and has a range of tools available as well to help with those things. One of those things is an interactive self-assessment tool, so you can kind of go through and look at what things you have or don't have in place, and it'll produce a action plan with links through to the relevant guidance to help kind of get started, really, because there's quite a lot of guidance there. We will be updating GEMS. We're looking at updating it next year, and we're going to be doing that in collaboration with the sector. We've set up a range of working groups with people who are managing school estates, as their day job, and we'll be working with them to make sure that it's really user-friendly and has everything we need. So we'll be looking at possibly case studies and things like that. Next slide, please. And then we also have the Managing Asbestos in Schools guidance as a separate piece of guidance, because this is obviously quite important. So we take advice from the Health and Safety Executive, but provide guidance to help schools alongside their guidance for schools as well. And this is just to give a bit more clarity on the roles that duty holders have got as employers, whether it be responsible bodies or schools, and information to help with managing asbestos effectively, having a management plan and surveys and things. Next slide, please. And then, oh, back on, I think, sorry. Oh no, next. Thanks. So I'll just go through the Capital Advisors programme quickly. It's aimed towards trust, so I know it's not particularly relevant for the audience, but it kind of shows the kind of work that we're doing and the kind of things we're looking at. So the Capital Advisors programme is something that we've designed to help trusts with increasing their estate management capability, and it sends technical advisors in to trusts and schools with questionnaires and visits to give them bespoke recommendations and support to help them with their estate management, and it'll be tailored to them as well. So the idea of this is to try and improve capability, help with kind of making the most of the money we have got, and improve building safety. And that is all aligned to the Good Estate Management for Schools guidance as well. Next slide, please. So we did a pilot last year of this. It had 20 multi-academy trusts in of different sizes, spread across the country. Advisors went into those trusts and they visited 34 of their academies, and each trust came out with a report and a range of recommendations to help them. We published that report on the 30th of June this year, so if you, I don't think there's a link there, but if you sort of search Capital Advisors Programme Pilot, it should pop up, or I can put it in the chat. And then that sets out the findings and next steps of the programme. And the programme did suggest that it was a good way to help MATs with managing their estate effectively, but what it also does is it gives us more insight into the challenges out there and some of the things that maybe we need to support more with. Next slide, please. And we had really good feedback from trusts on this. I was speaking to one of them yesterday actually, and they were ridiculously happy, which is brilliant. So 16 of the 20 gave us positive written feedback, and we didn't get any negative written feedback. So there's just some of it on the screen there, and they're still reaping the benefits, I think. Next slide, please. So next for CAP, we've got revisits to the 20 pilot trusts going on at the moment, so we can look at the impact that we've had over the last sort of just over a year, and to look at progress, and so we can sort of measure more effectively the impact of the programme. And then from January we have 50 new deployments to new trusts that have now been selected based on their condition, need, size, maturity, geography. And this will help us further develop the programme as we kind of gradually roll it out, and we'll be designing and changing things iteratively over that time. Next slide, please. That's it. Yeah, that's it from me. Thanks everyone. If you've got any questions, come in the chat or email us there. Thank you.